While I can provide guidance and information on working with APIs as a text-based AI, I don't have direct hands-on capabilities or the ability to access external systems. I can assist you by answering questions, providing explanations, and offering suggestions based on my training. To gain hands-on experience in working with APIs and solving real-world challenges, here are some steps you can follow. 1. Choose an API. Select an API that aligns with your interests or the problem you want to solve. Consider factors such as documentation quality, ease of integration, available endpoints, and authentication requirements. 2. Read the documentation. Thoroughly review the API documentation provided by the API provider. Understand the available endpoints, request and response formats, authentication methods, rate limits, and any specific guidelines or restrictions. 3. Set up authentication. If the API requires authentication, follow the documentation to set up the necessary credentials or access tokens. Understand the authentication mechanism, whether it's API keys, OAuth, or other methods, and implement the authentication process in your code. 4. Make API requests. Utilize your preferred programming language or tool to make API requests. Use the appropriate HTTP methods, GET, POST, PUT, DELETE, and include the necessary headers, parameters, and request bodies as specified by the API documentation. Ensure you handle errors and exceptions during the request process. 5. Process API responses. Receive and process the API responses. Parse the response data, handle different status codes, and extract the relevant information. Understand the structure of the response, such as JSON or XML, and use appropriate libraries or functions to work with the data. 6. Error handling. Implement error handling mechanisms to handle potential errors or failures during API interactions. Consider scenarios such as network errors, invalid requests, rate limits, or server-side issues. Handle errors gracefully and provide appropriate feedback to users or log relevant information for troubleshooting. 7. Build use cases. Apply the API to real-world use cases or challenges. For example, you can create a weather application that fetches weather data from a weather API, build an e-commerce integration, or develop a social media analytics tool using social media APIs. Utilize the API capabilities to solve problems and enhance your application's functionality. 8. Test and iterate. Test your API interactions thoroughly, including edge cases and error scenarios. Validate that the data returned by the API is accurate and matches your expectations. Iterate on your code and make necessary adjustments based on feedback and testing results. Remember, working with APIs involves a combination of programming skills, understanding of HTTP protocols, data formats, and error handling techniques. It's a learning process that requires persistence, experimentation, and problem-solving skills. Additionally, there are online tutorials, code samples, and API playgrounds available that allow you to experiment with APIs and gain hands-on experience. These resources can help you understand API concepts, practice making requests, and solve various challenges.